Van Meter, Iowa, 1903. A town where life moved slowly, like the currents of the Des Moines River. Harvest season approached. Days were filled with work, nights with simple pleasures. The air held the scent of freshly cut hay and the promise of a peaceful slumber. The townsfolk, hard-working and close-knit, knew little of the strange events that lurked just around the corner. Nightfall brought a blanket of stars to the Iowa sky, but the darkness also held something unknown, something unsettling. It began with whispers, with fleeting glimpses in the shadows. Something was disturbing the peace of Van Meter, something that defied explanation. It was a cool September evening, the kind that whispers of autumn's approach, when the impossible announced itself in the most unexpected manner. U.S. Express agent Elmer E. Lawson found himself face to face with the unknown, a moment that would forever alter his perception of reality. As he walked along the quiet cobblestone street, a massive shadow fell upon him, casting an eerie darkness. Above, a dark shape blotted out the stars, its wingspan unbelievably large, stretching across the night sky like a dark omen. Terror gripped Lawson's heart as a blinding light emanated from the creature, illuminating the street in an unnatural glow, making the familiar surroundings look alien. Lawson, momentarily paralyzed by fear, watched as the creature descended, landing clumsily on the roof of the nearby livery stable, its presence both majestic and terrifying. Its heavy claws scraped against the shingles, sending chills down Lawson's spine, the sound echoing in the still night air. He could hear the creature's strange, guttural cries echoing through the night, a sound that seemed to come from another world. This was no ordinary animal. This was something monstrous, something that defied all logic and understanding, a being from the darkest corners of imagination. Word of Lawson's terrifying encounter spread through Van Meter like wildfire. Skepticism mixed with fear as townsfolk gathered to discuss the impossible. Some dismissed it as a hoax, a figment of Lawson's imagination. Others, however, couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Night after night, the creature returned, its visits becoming bolder, its presence more menacing. Each encounter painted a similar picture, a massive bat-like being with glowing eyes and a deafening roar. The creature, dubbed the Van Meter Visitor, had sown terror into the hearts of the once peaceful town. The Van Meter Visitor cast a long shadow over the town. Sleep became a luxury few could afford. Armed men patrolled the streets, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and determination. The creature's nightly visits had transformed their lives into a waking nightmare. Children clung to their parents, their imaginations running wild with terrifying images of the winged beast. Farmers whispered prayers for protection as they tended their fields, their eyes constantly scanning the sky. The once peaceful rhythm of life in Van Meter had been shattered, replaced by an undercurrent of dread. The tension reached its peak on a moonless night. The creature, emboldened by its reign of terror, descended upon the town with a vengeance. Its deafening roar echoed through the streets, shaking the very foundations of the buildings. This was no mere visit. This was an assault. A group of armed townsfolk, their courage fueled by desperation, gathered in the town square. They fired their weapons into the night, their bullets seeming to pass harmlessly through the creature's shadowy form. The stench of sulfur filled the air as the visitor unleashed its blinding light, momentarily blinding the terrified townspeople. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, the creature's reign of terror came to an abrupt end. As quickly as it had appeared, the Van Meter Visitor vanished into the night. One moment it was there, its eyes blazing, its roar shaking the ground. The next, it was gone, leaving behind only a deafening silence and the lingering smell of brimstone. The townsfolk, still clutching their weapons, searched the skies, their hearts pounding in their chests. But the creature was gone, swallowed by the darkness. Had they imagined it all? Was it some shared hallucination brought on by fear and paranoia? Or had something truly extraordinary visited their small town? The questions lingered in the air, unanswered and unsettling. The local newspaper tried to make sense of it, but the explanations were as elusive as the creature itself. Some believed it was a sign, a warning from beyond. Others thought it was a trick of the mind, a collective delusion. Yet, the night sky held its secrets, indifferent to the turmoil below. Historical records would later document the event, but the truth remained shrouded in mystery. Life in the small town slowly returned to normal, but the memory of that night lingered, a haunting reminder of the unknown. And so, the Van Meter visitor became a legend, a tale whispered through generations, a story of something that vanished into thin air. News of the Van Meter visitor spread beyond the town's borders, attracting curiosity seekers and skeptics alike. Theories abounded, each more outlandish than the last. Some whispered of prehistoric creatures, thought to be long extinct, making a reappearance. Others spoke of secret government experiments gone wrong. A few even dared to suggest that the creature was extraterrestrial in origin, a visitor from another world. Despite the numerous theories and speculations, the true nature of the Van Meter visitor remained elusive. The evidence, a patchwork of eyewitness accounts and strange occurrences, only deepened the mystery. The events of 1903 left an indelible mark on Van Meter, a small town that would never be the same again. It was a time when the ordinary lives of the townsfolk were disrupted by something extraordinary, something that defied explanation. Life gradually returned to normal, but the memory of the Van Meter visitor lingered, a chilling reminder of the unknown that lurks just beyond the veil of reality. The townspeople couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that something otherworldly had touched their lives. The story became a part of the town's folklore, passed down through generations. Parents would tell their children, and those children would grow up to tell their own, ensuring that the tale of the Van Meter visitor would never be forgotten. To this day, the Van Meter visitor remains an enigma, a chilling tale of the unexplained. It haunts the town, a ghostly presence that refuses to fade away, always lurking in the shadows of their collective memory. Was it a real creature, a figment of imagination, or something else entirely? Theories abound, but none can definitively explain what happened during those fateful nights in 1903. The answer, like the creature itself, remains shrouded in mystery, a testament to the enduring power of the unknown. It symbolizes the human fascination with the unexplained, the stories that captivate our imagination and remind us that there is still much we do not understand about our world.